Mr. Farnsworth,
Yeah.
you want to come talk? Somebody asked me if I was related to you, but I'm not.
It just will go on, and they're just banking the money, and the
No.
families are being split.
Somewhere down line.
What's wrong with our proposal?
Okay,
Yeah.
and probably I could start with Fulton Sheen wishes he would be here tonight. He couldn't make it, but he is a co-sponsor of this House bill. He was also a co-sponsor of the bill 2 years ago when they tried to get it through. And that was one of the things that he learned and I learned in 2002. I actually ran against him in 2002, going door to door talking to people and actually start hearing some of these cases. So you're not alone. I mean,
Right.
this is an Allegan County that we represent. And I know Fulton's going to be term limited out next year. So I mean, that's where he was hoping that this would get out of committee. And probably the best thing to say, you can make a difference. How many times does somebody get asked, well, do you vote? And there's people that say, well, no, they're not going to vote because it doesn't make a difference. And I can tell you, it does make a difference. And it makes a difference in who you vote for. I mean, we tend to be Republicans or Democrats, and to be honest, there's good and bad about both sides. I am a Republican. I believe very strongly in individual rights. I believe too big of a government is bad because they take more control away from the individual rights. And I think this is probably a classic example of what happens when the government gets bigger. They have benefits. They have this bonuses to take kids away from their families, from their parents. And that's why I believe very strongly Republicans, they want to be pro-family. They want to deal with these issues. Right now, we have a Democratic majority. That's why Andy Dillon is the majority leader of the House. He has control. As Rick had pointed out, he has a lot of control. What's going to come out of those committees? The committee chairs in the House are Democrats because the Democrats are in control of the House. So when you go to that committee chairperson, they have a lot of power of their individual committees. And that's why we can't get those out of the committee. We have a better shot now in the judicial, especially with Rick being on that. So that's one thing. This next election in 2008, it's very important that you look at the different candidates and who's available. It may not be a Republican-Democrat issue, but it could be. You have to look, what does each individual candidate stand for? And you have to encourage others to vote. I could not believe it when I went door to door in 2002, how many homes I knocked on and they didn't want to talk to me because they don't vote. Doesn't make a difference anyways. There's so many people that do that, and it makes a difference because their vote, by not voting, they're taking what whoever else voted for. And it could be where if they would have voted and they looked at who the candidates were, they might have been a better choice. And it may have been a choice to protect the individual rights, to protect the family rights. So voting does make a difference, especially in your county elections for state rep and state senator, because they're the ones that have to pass that law. The next step after that would be the governor. Currently, Governor Granholm probably would veto it because of her stand on the issues in the past. I think she would go against that. You look at her, she comes from a lawyer aspect. The judges and the Friends of the Court supported her very heavily. So do you think she's going to go against that establishment? Probably not. She wants future political revenue from that. She probably won't be just a retired governor. She'll probably look for another political office. So it does make a difference when you look at that also. And it really does break down to every vote counts. You have to vote. You have to know the reasons why, who to vote for, and you have to encourage others to vote. And then the other thing, after those representatives are in there, you need to write the letters. Because I've talked with several representatives, and they look at how many letters they get on different issues. You have to encourage others to write. It could be where if we had enough letters going in there to Andy Dillon and to the others, that you can actually start making a difference. And it's like, you know, this is a big issue. Democrats could lose their jobs or not get reelected if they don't start acting on this. That's what will cause them to act. I hate to say it, but for their own personal self-interest, they would act on it then.
We have a lot of Democrats in this movement. You know, it's not just Republicans.
And that's the point I was trying to make, that, you know, just because you're Republican means that you're only the ones for it. There are going to be Democrats and Republicans for it, but you have to get the word out and you have to write those letters.
Andy Dillon will probably respond to you too. I sent a letter to everybody about dealing with the budget and how equal parenting